The Russia-Ukraine conflict has dramatically reshaped global geopolitics. Western nations have slapped Russia with sweeping sanctions, and this has precipitated the economic crisis, and EU members are also scrambling for new sources of energy. Countries like South Africa have chosen a non-aligned position and continues to call on the warring parties to give diplomacy a chance.
The situation both in the Ukraine and Russia conflict, and it has polarized the world very seriously, and worse because of the position that the Americans have taken around the question of sanctions. But we're also worried about the eastern side, especially the question around Asia. You could see the tension between the US, China, including on the situation around the question of Taiwan. But in the continent, you could see these issues of coups that are happening, and these other governments that have actually done coups not wanting to go to election.
The governing party has reaffirmed its commitment that South Africa's foreign policy should be mainly anchored in the continent.
We belong to the African continent, and therefore issues of peace, security and stability and economic development are at the center. That's the priority for the African National Congress going forward. We must focus on the African continent. We must focus on trade within the African continent, but also we must focus on peace, security and stability. We must also focus on our role in the international community, but we have to start with the AU first, because we belong to the AU, but also SADC as a region, we belong to the region.
Some of these ANC fraternal parties from Zimbabwe and Palestine attended the national conference.
As liberation movements, our solidarity, our philosophy and injury to one is injury to all still subsists, and it has really been shown with all the different ways, His Excellency the President, Cyril Ramaphosa, has been evoking quite a lot in terms of the illegal sanctions that have been imposed on us, and also through the AU, SADC, and also liberation movements. We've been quite emphatic about it. We're so happy on the turnout of this conference.
We are very proud of this nice, very democratic conference where they are elected their leadership freely, and we learn a lot from this experience.
Meanwhile, international relations experts have welcomed the move by the US to back Africa's bid for a permanent seat on the UN Security Council. ANC has been calling for the transformation of global institutions.
The ANC itself has actually had a standing resolution to look at the UN Security Council reforms, but also to review and look at the Ezulwini consensus, which is of course the African position on UN reform. So I think what it says is that many of the voices that have been coming from Africa are reaching their counterparts in the US, and the US is obviously trying to project itself as a partner within the continent. But also I think what the US is taking into account is that African leaders are not very happy to be put in a position where they have to choose between one power over the other.
This conference has reiterated our commitment to a better Africa and a better world.
Khayelihle Khumalo, SABC News, Johannesburg.